O'Rourke campaign, and he joins me now. Cal?
Yeah, so we wanted to give you a slice of this race and the place that it's taking place in, of course, and we've done so with conservative talk radio as both your guide and your soundtrack.
He's hip and cool. Ted Cruz isn't hip and cool. His new trick is to go to those places, hold a rally, get people to show up, and say the things that they like to hear.
I am concerned about the polls. I don't necessarily know where they're polling people at.
There are people coming out in El Paso. There are people coming out in Fort Davis.
I don't see one Ted Cruz sign. I see Beto signs. I'm concerned if Ted Cruz really wants to win this race. Where's his people at?
You go to some of the reddest places in Texas, places like Abilene, so reliably red, you can see it glowing from outer space. There's really something very special happening in Texas right now.
I talked to a lot of people, and nobody I've ever even talked to, I've never met one person who's been polled. So, I mean, who are they polling, the illegal immigrants?
To everyone in this community who gave me a chance to succeed, I want to tell you, I'm going to make the absolute most of it right now.
3 minutes after the hour, Robert Francis O'Rourke, better known as Beto, feels it's very American to take a knee.
And I can think of nothing more American than to peacefully stand up or take a knee for your rights anytime, anywhere, any place. So thank you very much for asking the question.
Do you have any response to Ted Cruz attacking you on what you said about the NFL?
No, I mean, my words, my comments speak for themselves.
Thank you.
It doesn't appear that Robert Francis Beto hurt himself with the ramblings on and on and on about there's nothing more American than taking a knee. As a matter of fact, it looks like it might have helped it. Who are these people?
They're American, you know. We should be able to, if you want to kneel, be able to kneel. And if you don't want to kneel, you want to stand up, go ahead and stand up.
I got a list of questions for Beto O'Rourke, otherwise known as Robert O'Rourke. Do you really think you're going to win with your Hispandering?
Why Beto, not Ted Cruz?
You know what? Ted Cruz has been out there for a long time, and he hasn't really represented anybody, especially when it comes to Hispanics. He hasn't really stood up for what Hispanics are for.
One of the things that we're going to have to talk about here is some in the Democratic Party say if we're competitive in Texas, it's as good as a win. I'm here to tell you it's not as good as a win. Just watch the hearings that we've seen this week.
Right, and remember, the polls don't indicate the fact that turnout in midterm elections for Republicans is much stronger than Democrats. So statistically, unless something changes this time around, Beto O'Rourke would have to be running ahead of Ted Cruz as opposed to a little bit behind.
Definitely, at this point, and especially when you're polling likely voters, what's going to win this election for Congressman O'Rourke is unlikely voters, specifically Latinos who live along that border.
All right, Cal, stand by. If Beto O'Rourke can pull out a win in 2018, that would be something. But if he can, what are the chances that Texas turns blue in 2020? We'll be right back with more from Cal and Jeremy Byrd.
And the question is, how do you feel about NFL players who take a knee during the national anthem? The freedoms that we have were purchased not just by those in uniform, and they definitely were, but also by those who took their lives into their hands riding those Greyhound buses, the Freedom Riders in the Deep South in the 1960s. And I can think of nothing more American than to peacefully stand up or take a knee for your rights anytime, anywhere, any place. So
Texas Democratic Congressman and Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke in a campaign moment that went viral. Cal Perry and Jeremy Byrd are back with us. Jeremy founded Battleground Texas, an organization devoted to making Texas politics competitive for Democrats. And that's the point here, Jeremy. It's not that Beto O'Rourke might win a Senate seat, which he might,